Hey, Chase the RecomActual. Today, we are talking about a slightly different topic, and that is EDC, but EDC through the lens of mindset. Because while gear is awesome, as Flannel Daddy is fond of saying, all the gear in the world is cool, but if you don't have training, you're gonna get killed by somebody who has the right mindset and the right training. So let's talk about mindset as it relates to your EDC. So like I said, gear is awesome. It's a ton of fun to dive into. And as you probably know, this is US Elite's YouTube channel, and they sell a lot of awesome gear. But their first concern is that you, the end user, have the right mindset and training to make sure that that gear that you buy from them is utilized to the best of your ability to increase your mission success, your probability of going home at the end of the day. So we've got a variety of different gear items that we're gonna talk about. And what I'm gonna do is sort of tell you why they're here, which would be the mindset behind why we carry what we carry. So we've got my EDC right here. We've got the cameraman's EDC right here. And I'm just gonna hit on each one individually. So starting off with our foundation, Salomon boots. So the cameraman and I both wear Salomons every day. I'm currently wearing the Speed Assault 2s. He wears a variety of the different Salomon FORCES SA boots. And so we do carry a different selection of those Salomon boots in a rotation depending on what we're doing. So if we're going up in the mountains, we're gonna wear the right boots for that. If I'm cruising around in an urban environment with the kids, something like that, I'm probably wearing the Speed Assault 2s. If it's colder, we're gonna do something about that, colder weather boots, all that kind of thing. But generally, we keep Salomons in a rotation for EDC because our feet are our foundation, they are our base. So we make sure we take care of those and we're wearing proper footwear for what it is that we're doing on our day-to-day lives. Next, wallet. So this is a Ridge wallet, and it has all of my pertinence in there, including in the back, a neat little metal card. Now this can get you jammed up at TSA. They'll let you through, but typically they'll scan it and they'll see it and they'll ask you about it. Basically, that's got a variety of different tools that you may find useful for a variety of situations. Next, this is an NFC chip or coin. So you can put all kinds of data on this, whether that is radio frequencies, geolocations, NFCs, NFTs, crypto, whatever the case may be. All you need is a phone, which all of them do, that do NFC transfer. And so I keep a variety of important data on that, including medical. My daughter also has one. She has allergies, so she keeps one in her backpack. Next, sort of focusing on that mindset, this is a memento mori coin, right? So, basically, it says, remember to live because remember that you will die. It's kind of the whole point of the mindset, right? Death's going to come for all of us at some point. It's about how you live, and it's about how you face your death. Next, a little bit of chapstick. I like to keep my lips fresh. Don't judge me. Next, Bic lighter. I carry a Bic lighter all the time because I like to be able to have the ability to start fires. Fire is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to mankind. It keeps you warm, and it's wildly amusing. After that, handcuff key. I actually have a couple of these in various places on my person because reasons. I'll let you figure that out. Next, the center point of what most people are going to talk about when they talk about EDC is a firearm. So I have an Agency Arms Glock 17 here. I carry that in a Gen 2 T-Rex Arms holster. I have an extra mag with an extended base plate. And so there you go. It's a Glock 17. It's very standard, probably your most common handgun out there. On the handgun, I do have a Streamlight TLR7 Alpha because I do think that guns, that fighting guns should have lights on them because it really helps to see what it is you're shooting. Next, Black Triangle VENOM. So this is a collaboration between US Elite Gear and Black Triangle. This is a 7-inch overall, completely non-metallic compliance system. I'll leave it at that. But this can definitely go places that the gun cannot, and it is an extremely handy dandy tool. And the tip is actually sharp enough you can use this to like open boxes and that kind of stuff. So it has usefulness outside of just making your point. All right, after that, we have a flashlight. So this is an Enforce TFX. I modified this to get the Theorem to fit on it. So this is a Theorem Switchback Gen 2. That does allow me to go ahead and use the my handgun with a flashlight or run my flashlight separately because I don't always want to necessarily point my gun at something I'm just trying to illuminate. So this does give me options. And again, guys, this goes back to the mindset. I use this flashlight almost every day because, you know, I need to find something in my car, or I hear something outside and go to check it out. You don't want to necessarily always point a gun at something. So having a flashlight is extremely useful. So while I do believe that firearms should have lights on them, I absolutely think that you should carry a secondary source of light because it's extremely important. After that, this is just a BENCHMADE folder. So again, this is just an extremely useful tool. So could it be used in a defensive situation? Yes, of course it can. It's actually not preferable because it is a folder. And when you really start to dig into the meat of the subject, folders can break and they can fold on you. But if in a pinch, I could absolutely use it. But again, I use this all the time. Open boxes, you know, cut up fruit for the kids, whatever, man. I use this all the time. And then finally, I have an ankle med kit. So this doesn't work so well in the summer where I'm wearing shorts. I have a different pocket med kit I use for that. But basically this has stuff to stop a bleed. I can work on airways with this. I have some boo-boo stuff in there. I do have scissors, again, for cutting clothes, and tape. Tape I also have in here. I have a rat's tourniquet. I'll let you guys yell at me in the comments about the rat's tourniquet. It is what fits on the ankle medical kit. And again, I have to get this under my pants. So it is what it is. And then finally, I have a Sharpie. Sharpies are extremely useful. I use that all the time for a variety of things, but most importantly, you can write on skin with this. So if you are helping work on someone and then a higher level of care is responding, like EMS, something like that, you can do method of injury, treatment, times, all that kind of stuff. You can do that. Looking at Rutson's EDC. So he's got a agency SIG with a red dot on it. Big fan of red dots. He also has a Streamlight TR7 Alpha on that. He's got his wallet. He also carries a black triangle knife. He's got his Kershaw folder. He's got his backup Streamlight pocket light. This has a belt clip, or pocket clip. So he runs that with a pocket clip. You can absolutely still index this in the Surefire method for shooting, but he just carries it in a different way. And of course, we both have our cell phones. And then he has, in addition, a third blade, and this is a K-bar, which is pretty neat and can definitely be very handy. So guys, that's an overview of our EDC. Some of you are going to think, oh my gosh, that's so much. And some of you guys, well, I carry 3 times as much as that. Hey, cool, right? You do you, boo-boo. This is what we carry based on our environment and what we think we're going to experience from a need or threat-based perspective in our daily lives. But again, mindset is key. So what is the mindset we're bringing to bear on our EDC? Well, let's get into it. So the mindset we bring to bear with all of our EDC is victory first. So basically, losing is not an option for us. So whatever situation that applies to, whether that is I got to open this box or I've got to open up a person, I'm going to carry the tools to make that happen. And if I need to work on a person, I'm going to carry the tools to make that happen. Last year, I was stopped at a 4-way intersection and a lady had a heart attack on the other side of the stop sign. And I was the first person there on scene. I was there for 5 minutes alone with her before someone else came along. Luckily, it was a trauma nurse. And so that was pretty cool. But again, that's just something that happens. I cannot tell you the number of wrecks that Rutz and I have been the first person on scene for. Having medical gear, and if you can in your vehicle, higher echelons of medical gear and care items is really, really important. So again, we approach this from a victory first mindset. Failure and losing is not an option. So we train with everything we carry, regardless of all the media we're creating or the training we're doing for different pieces of gear. The primary thing we train on is what we carry every day. So that means that I'm doing indexing and drawing with my black triangle knife. I'm doing dry fire with my firearm, whether I get to go out to the range and doing live fire or not. You don't always get the time for that, but I'm doing dry fire with that. I'm practicing in every piece of clothing that I wear, every piece of clothing that I own. When I get dressed and I put on all my stuff, I make sure, whether I'm wearing just a t-shirt or a button-up or 3 layers because it's freezing or it's raining, I go through a draw stroke with my knife and my firearm at minimum to ensure that it is going to work and there's nothing stupid going on. Because, you know, when you're not paying attention, you'll do things that turn out to be a little stupid in the moment. And we want to avoid that whenever possible. And again, this may seem like a lot to some people, but we've cut it down to be as minimal as it can be to work with the kind of clothing we wear, the environment we live in, and again, most importantly, the kinds of threats that we tend to expect in our area. Look, the world's a crazy place and it seems to be getting a little bit more crazy. So perhaps sacrificing a little bit of style or a little bit of comfort to ensure that if you find yourself in a situation that a few years ago you would have never imagined happening, To me, that's worth it. And again, this is getting back to mindset. Are you training with your gear, and are you realistically assessing your environment and your world? And are you prepared for that? Are you doing an area study? I won't get off into that whole area study tangent, but it's important. Knowing your community, knowing your neighbors, knowing what's going on around you, your local news, your local officials, all this comes into play. Remember, if you do end up having to deploy any of these tools in a lethal force encounter, knowing local law enforcement and knowing local officials can come in very handy. So guys, overall, what we want to talk about is, what are you thinking about your EDC? Applying logical, consistent standards, criteria, and thought processes to picking your EDC has to be first before you go out and spend money on gear, because you don't want to spend money you shouldn't, and you don't want gear that doesn't work for you where you live and with your skills, your physical limitations, your legal limitations where you live. All these things have to be considered before you go out and buy gear. However, if you've done all of that and you are looking to buy some gear, I would encourage you to check out US Elite Gear, because they have a lot of clothing and boots and bags that can really help when you're staging your UDC and you're setting it up. Like I said, we start with Salomon boots from US Elite as our base, because we believe those are the products we need to best support ourselves in what we do every day. So guys, if you want to check out US Elite Gear for all your EDC items, that's us-elitegear.com, or you can check them out all over social media. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, gear is cool. Training and mindset is what matters. So train hard, live free. See you next time.